Hi, my name is Nicole Chang, and I am the Chief Executive Officer of Our Legacy Incorporated. At Our Legacy Incorporated, we advocate for children of all ages, as well as design and implement programs to empower them to be their better selves. My project is Project Breathe Again. In Baltimore City, oftentimes, all we hear about is violence or death. However, it's very rare that we hear about lives that are saved. Why not equip our children with the ability to save lives? Children ages 9 and up are old enough to learn CPR. Who are around other kids more than other children? Why not give them the ability to help save a life? I want the world to know that I believe in our children, that I refuse to give up. I think that our kids need consistency. They need someone to constantly believe in them and empower them. I just want everyone to know that my sincere wish, I think, for our children, other than to be happy and to be nurtured, is for them to be successful. I want our children to know what success feels like. My why is very simple. The children, not just my biological children, but children. It's so cliche, but they're innocent. They didn't ask to be here. And I think that it is our duty to empower them, to help them to become leaders in their own right. It's only natural. Kids need guidance. And I think that I get a sense of joy from watching kids succeed, from watching kids become themselves. That's my why. What made me want to do this project? About 4 years ago, my son was a freshman at Digital Harbor High School, and he was actually held at gunpoint and robbed by several students. There was a young man that actually was an innocent bystander, but the situation was so terrifying to him that he started to have, I believe it was an asthma attack, or just really couldn't breathe. And luckily for him, there was someone was coming by that knew CPR and was able to, in the midst of all this, administer CPR to him. And so it became clear to me just how important something as simple as knowing how to administer CPR can really actually save a life. So, and I figured, why not? Why not teach it to the ones that are the most vulnerable? And of course, that's our children. So why not give them the tools? Oftentimes, when kids are around other kids, adults aren't around. And if they are, they're busy or they're handling 12 other children. So why not give the kids the ability to help save lives? Who inspires me? Of course, I can name a dozen people, whether it's Michelle Obama or it's Jill Carter, or it's even in her own right, Marilyn Mosby, quite honestly. But for me, I'm gonna have to say it's a lot closer to home. It's my mother. My mother was an immigrant to this country. Coming from Jamaica, she had a child that she had to take care of. My mother received no assistance. My mother was able to raise her 3 children, and she did that well. My mother put herself on the back burner for us. She did this so many years. Recently, my mother's finally was able to focus on herself and just graduated with her degree from Johns Hopkins. And during all this time, while there was so much struggle around her, my mother made sure that she was a part of her community. She was active. We saw that. So when people ask, why am I the way that I am? How can I not be? That's what I was raised upon. My mother always fought for not only her rights, her children's rights, but other children's rights. My mother was the mother that, all the kids knew. If you go around Miss Paulette and you curse, she's gonna deal with you. Not even so much your parent, but she's gonna get with you, and then she's gonna get with your parents and then tell them what to do. My mother grew up in a generation where before you got home, your neighbors knew what happened and knew that they had the right to discipline you before you got home. So that's how my mother reared me. I have respect for my elders. I have a genuine love for my community. and I always excel or want to excel. And I get that from my mother. So absolutely, that's my hero. And that's, wow. I know people are gonna say they would change the violence, that they would change, but for me, if I had a magic wand, the one thing that I would change in Baltimore is the style in which we operate. Baltimore is so cliquish, right? Like, I know that there's so much that's missing from our city, but there's so much that's here. There's so much heart. There's so much brilliance, and there's resources here. But we operate as individuals as opposed to a real community. So if there's anything that I would change, I would want to change our mindset. Give us a real sense of community, because once we have that, there is no stopping us. Once we have that togetherness, the willingness to share, oh man, like our city, it will be what it's supposed to be. Absolutely. What will make Baltimore a more safer and vibrant community? Put the children first. Put the children first. When we focus on that, everything else falls into place, right? Because children need a structured and loving, nurturing home. So then we have to get our homes in order. Children need a safe community to play in. Then we'll start to get our communities together. Obviously, children need mom and dad that can provide for them. So then we'll focus on employment. If we really focus on what makes tomorrow better for our children, I think, because that's the one thing we can all agree on. That's the one thing that we all have in common is the love for our children. And so I think if we just make that the focal point, right? Because we've tried everything else. Make that the focal point, something that everyone cares about. And we all agree that we need to prepare them and have a future for them. So if we could focus on that, I think maybe it will give some clarity to us. For the opportunity presents, of course it's an honor. I know so many other people who have received this award that I personally admire, and the work that they're doing is amazing. And so for me, in order for me to emulate excellence, it's always been important to me to look around me to see how did other people get to where they are. And for me in Baltimore community, this fellowship is important and what it brings. So I'm thrilled and I'm honored and I'm excited to be a part of this. My B-More, chicken box, snowball. My B-More, it's home. If I had a hashtag, what would my hashtag be? That's simple. Hashtag she will not stop. Obviously, I wouldn't be here without the Warnock Foundation. But no, seriously, what can I say? I just want to thank Mr. Warnock and his foundation for caring, for sharing, for just recognizing that they're everyday, ordinary heroes that would like to make a difference, but may not have the resources or may not know the people that they need to know in order to get to that next level. And I just want to thank them for recognizing the everyday people that set out to change the world. Thank you.